I made $3,189.50. Hey, it's Vinny. Today we're going to be doing something fun. We're going to be looking at how much money I made in October from YouTube, options, stocks, and more. I know a lot of people are curious about how much money people can make through these avenues, so I thought I'd shed some light on my experience. And in total this month, I made $3,189.50. Now, my YouTube income came in at a whopping $8.45 of that. To say I'm playing the long game here is putting it lightly. You know, this is purely from ad revenue. My channel is a small one here with only around 1,650 subscribers. I haven't taken on any sponsorships. I don't yet sell any of my own products, but I think that, you know, these are the avenues where you really make the money in the long term or. Now, I have been toying with the idea of starting a monthly membership service that would offer perks like a Discord community where we can discuss investing, entrepreneurship, you know, if you're looking to start a business, maybe you have a business, obviously stocks. And if there's enough interest, it's something that I'll do, but with my small following, I figured it may be best to focus on continuing to grow for now and the things that are actually making me decent money, like options. My options income for the month of October came in at $2,764. Now, I don't really consider myself a day trader. It's funny, I am starting to trade more, but roughly 80% of my portfolio is dedicated to long-term investing, you know, set and forget, with about 20% devoted to option strategies. I'm definitely focusing more on the latter these days, though. Now, with options, I'm not typically buying calls, buying puts. I like to sell premium. I'm monetizing positions that I own or that I'd like to own by selling covered calls on positions I have or selling puts on stocks that I wouldn't mind owning at that price. So, and if you're not familiar with options trading, you know, I'll give you guys a quick 1 or 2 minutes here. If not, feel free to skip this part. And I'm going to show you guys all my options trades for October next. So say I have 100 shares of Tesla and the stock price is currently around $217. I could sell a call at a strike price of $230 expiring this Friday and collect $100 of premium. If the stock is below $230 on Friday, I keep my shares and I keep my $100 of premium. If the stock closes the week above the $230, my shares would get called away, so I'd get $230 per share plus $100 of premium. So as long as you're picking a strike price you're happy selling your shares at, then it's a win-win. I, however, am trying to have my cake and eat it too. As in a perfect world, you know, I would like to keep my shares and collect the premium, especially when we're looking at something like Tesla. You know, other positions I might be more willing to let the stock go. Now, there's many ways to go about this. Barring complete calamity, there are strategies I can and have used where I'm able to finesse most of the time if the stock is a big week and it goes against me like we saw last week. So that's calls. And then on the put side, with puts, the idea is the same, but you're picking a price you would like to buy shares at instead of sell. So for example, I could sell a $200 put on Tesla expiring Friday, collect $100 of premium. And by the way, all options contracts are for 100 shares. So for Tesla, $200 times 100 shares, you're talking about $20,000. Palantir, that's another stock I've used that's cheaper, $18 a share times 100 shares, you're talking about $1,800 per contract. Now, one of Warren Buffett's favorite tactics is selling put options, as you essentially are getting paid to wait for a better price to buy in. So, you know, I've discussed options here and there on the channel. I haven't talked about it a whole lot as it's a bit more complex, but it's something I've been doing for 3 years now, and there were a lot of big lessons along the way, believe me. You know, it took a while to really figure this out. I think that personally, for me, the best way to really learn has been being man in the arena, you know, having some skin in the game. I learned quickly what to do and what not to do. So if there's an interest, I can discuss it more, you know, below. We'll look at every options trade that I made here in October. So as you can see, the first column is the stock with the strike price I picked. The number of contracts are in parentheses. Ooh, can't even speak. If it was more than one contract, so if there's no parentheses, it's just one contract. And whether it was a covered call, I put CC, or if it's a put, it's a P. So the second column is the date I sold. The third column is how much premium I collected. And the fourth column is the expiration date. So as you can see here, you know, a lot of the same names. As I said, this month I did a lot of weekly selling. So I had some Amazon calls here, Palantir, Tesla, a couple one-offs, Symbotic, and a couple other stocks that I own. So you can skim through those if you are interested. And my goal here, again, not trying to hit home runs. I was just trying to generate enough premium to make it worthwhile. And ideally, most of these stocks I do want to hold on to. So we'll see how long I can make this work, where, again, trying to have my cake and eat it too. Probably not advisable. But again, if you're just picking, like let's say you bought Amazon today. What's Amazon at? Let's say Amazon, wow, it's up to $143. So it's been on quite a run. Let's say you bought it today and you start selling, $150 strikes. You can really only make money, right? And if you're okay with selling at the strike you pick, so 150, it just seems like a win-win for me. And then you can kind of just rinse and repeat. But of course, different strategies, all depending on everyone's situation and what your goal is. So you can see what I did here. A lot of Palantir. Palantir, I have some more shares, so I was able to do 10 contracts. And again, I think I'm being pretty conservative. Like you can see, back on October 13, I was selling the 19 call. That was generating me $10 or so per contract, so a little over $100. And I was keeping them weekly because, again, there's a million ways to go about this, but my philosophy has just been, with positions like this that go up 20% out of nowhere, like we saw, or after earnings, there's only so much that can happen in a week, right? There is going to come a time, there will be days where it does have these 20% pops, and you can kind of get screwed over or get your position called away when that happens. But if you give yourself enough room, this is what I've been trying to do, just give it enough room so that the odds are in my favor. And if that does happen, I'm able to kind of adjust the position and roll it up and out. So you'll see like a few times here in the beginning of October, I rolled my 16 call up to a 16.5 call. So yeah, and then I've got a couple other positions here. So it's a busy month, as you can see. I did make a pretty significant amount of trades. I focused mostly on selling covered calls, and I did a lot of weekly contracts. And sometimes I had to adjust the positions if they went against me, or I closed early if it made sense based on what the stock was doing. All right, on to dividends and interest. This month we brought in $88.29 in dividends, and in interest I made $328.77. Taking advantage of those high rates, getting around 5% yield annually. So I do own some dividend stocks outright, like Realty Income, which is good for my monthly dividend here. But my dividend income does fluctuate, as most companies pay quarterly, and some of the dividend and interest income is really dependent on my option strategy, what I'm doing there, through positions that have been assigned to me. For example, I own Pure Storage, PSA, and UPS. These are two great examples of stocks that I sold puts on. They were assigned, and as you can kind of see from some of the trades above, I turn around, I sell covered calls on these positions, and I'm also collecting the dividends when they pay quarterly. So the interest income on my cash position, and it's some of that I've put aside for if we have a crash. Some of it is dedicated to put options that are still open in case they get assigned. So in conclusion, this is my income for October. And I hope to continue to increase this number. It has been trending up over the last few months, as you can see below. So just almost 3,200 we almost cracked this month. Last month we were at 2,950, and the month before that, August, 2,300. So, it's enough money to pay the bills while I figure out next steps for my entrepreneurial journey. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like and subscribe, and let me know your thoughts in the comments below. I look forward to hearing from you guys. And also, if reading is your thing, I run a Substack. It's completely free. You can also subscribe for that down in the description below. I make all my videos into an article as well, and vice versa. All right, guys, check it out. Way more cool stuff over there, and I'll see you guys on the next one.